Good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino beer review. Today you have the Rhino. We're looking at a beer from the Niagara region. This beer is from St. Catharines, I believe, is where their brewery is now. Yes, St. Catharines. Decew Falls Brewing Company, St. Catharines, Ontario. Ingredients: water, barley, hops, and yeast. Handcrafted by J.W. Woodruff. Oh, are we making J.W. Woodruff into something special? Like, this was handcrafted by J.W. Woodruff. You should know who that is, especially if you're from St. Catharines. This is Decew Falls Brewing Company's Copper Beech Red Ale at 4.7% alcohol by volume. Thank you very much, Brian, for picking this up and sending it down to me. So this is a brewery that has been around since before I went to the Arctic. However, and it was a few years before I went to the Arctic, I think I reviewed their first beer, their Morningstar Cream Ale, 7, maybe 8 years ago. They were a contract brewery for quite some time. Their brick and mortar brewery kept getting pushed back. Were these guys that had the fight with Brock Street? Because there was a brewery that was going to open in Niagara Falls that was going to be Brock Brewing. And Brock Street put a cease and desist on them. Brock Street being in Whitby. And I remember getting involved at a point in time and arguing with the owner of Brock Street. And I'm like, look, your beer might be great. Your beer might be this. Your beer might be that. It's the way you worded your cease and desist that I'm worked up about. You have more than your fair share and fair right to defend your product and everything else. However, if I'm looking at like a Sir Isaac Brock brewery versus Brock Street, I'm not going to mix it up. And if somebody does, that person's an idiot. But I don't remember if these guys are them or not. I don't remember if J.W. Woodruff was the man that was talking to me back then. Anyway, rooted in the battlefield of Lundy's Lane, the Copper Beech tree at Drummond Hill Cemetery was a living memorial to freedom. Our brewmaster taps into that same reverence to bestow daring. To bestow daring? To bestow? Yeah, to bestow daring to this fearless red ale. Ho, 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 ho. I am J.W. Woodruff. If you're J.W. Woodruff, I'm not trying to be offensive. I know I probably am being, but I'm not trying to be. I'm having fun. Okay, that's what beer's supposed to be. There's too many people that take beer way too seriously nowadays. It should be fun. I'm having fun. I'm hoping this is a really good Irish red. Because if it is, I'm fucking gung-ho for this. If it isn't, I'm going to start talking like this. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, I am. I need to know one thing. 1 second. Do they all say handcrafted by J.W. Woodruff? No! This one does not say proudly crafted by J.W. Woodruff. This one's proudly brewed at St. Catharines, but not J.W. Wood. So what's special about this one? Why is this one proudly brewed by J.W. Woodruff, and none of the others are? Is he not proud of his other beers? Is your brewmaster not proud of your other? Is that last name? See, and I lived in St. Catharines. I lived in Niagara Falls. I lived in Thorold. I lived in Welland. I lived all over the Niagara region. Is that name something that should be special to me? Because the only real last name that's really special in my mind in that city is like well, I don't know, Merritt, Brock, I guess Decew, because this is Decew Falls, but Brock University even has Decew residency, so Decew must be something big too. Again, I lived in the region for a long time, but I didn't care to learn a lot of the history, and I mean, it's a sad thing. I've learned more history about Regina in my time. I think it's because of where I was mentally while I was in the Niagara region. And I think just me being myself again, I'm taking more in about my surroundings than I did when I was there. Anyways, I like the color. I mean, it's not the same as on the can, but it kind of is the same as on the can. It's more like a coppery than an amber to me. Especially when you go through the light, it's actually straight up like a red. Almost like a ruby red. I really like that. I really like the off-white head. It does have a snap, crackle, pop to it. Visually, very appealing beer. Like, if you put that on the table in front of me, I would be very happy. I'm sorry that we took so long. I'm sorry that I was talking like this so much. Caramel, roastiness, a little bit of cherry. That smells great. That really does smell like what a red ale should smell like. So I'm really excited about that. I'm not getting overly hoppiness. I'm not getting any out of the glass. Nothing, because it's such a thick head. There is a nice little snap, crackle, pop, but I love the retention on that head. This is a very nice looking beer. Visually, it's very appealing. There is some nice carbonation moving in there. I love the color. I love the color of the head. I love the head retention. I love the smell out of the can. Cheers. Let's try it. I know I said I would only do it if I disliked the beer, but I really like the beer. J.W. Woodruff, you have done such a good job. You really have. I'm glad that you handcrafted this beer. I'm not sure why you didn't handcraft proudly the other beers. But I'm glad you handcrafted this one proudly. You should be proud of this red ale. You should. It tastes so good. Yes, it does. Oh, J.W. Woodruff, you have made a fine ale here. You have. Oh, yeah. Okay, beautiful, beautiful beer. Little tiny bit of roastiness that starts in the middle and goes right to the end. Nice caramel forefront. Nice cherry nib flavor that goes from the beginning to the end. A little bit of that English-esque mud pie finish. I mean, this is, to me, a great hybrid beer. And I say hybrid beer because it reminds me of a hybrid between an Irish red and an English pub. It has that dirtiness on the back end, has a little bit more of a roasty, robust forefront, but it has the cherry nibs, it has the caramel, it has the tiniest touch of smokiness. I really like this beer. Like, I do. And it's 4.7% alcohol, so for a red, it's right where I want a red to be. It's where I can have like a 6-pack of it. I can't drive after a 6-pack because, well, I couldn't drive even after one because I'm blind. But I wouldn't be able to drive after a 6-pack, but I'd still be able to walk home. And I mean, that's the thing, right? It's a beer where I could sit down and have a couple pints with my buddies or several pints with my buddies, get up, go home, still be good, do things to my wife, go to bed. When I say do things to my wife, I mean in bed. With her permission. Get your mind out of the fucking gutter. You're just jealous that you're not sleeping with this. That's a great red ale. That's a great red ale. That's great red ale. That is miles above the Morningstar Cream Ale. That's easily an 8 out of 10. And I really like it. I'm so glad they have their own brewery and are pumping out beers like this now. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Brian. Bye-bye.